Stephen Graham Jones's horror book, My Heart is a Chainsaw, is a tribute to the slasher subgenre that combines elements of vintage horror movies with a modern story. The book delves deeply into trauma, identity, and the power of narrative in addition to being a love letter to slasher movies. The narrative takes place in the rural community of Prufrock, Idaho. Jade Daniels, the primary character, is a 17-year-old high school student who has a strong obsession with slasher movies. She is an outsider who has experienced trauma in the past and has a difficult home life. Jade is sensitive and brilliant, yet she is an outsider because of her fixation with horror films. Getting to know Jade's world. Jade is a janitor at the neighborhood high school. She is bullied and lonely, and the world of horror movies is the only refuge she has. She draws connections between the real world and the terrifying movies she enjoys. The community of Prufrock is evolving. Rich newcomers are moving in, purchasing land, and preparing to turn the community into a popular tourist attraction. This includes building a new lake, which will cause some of the town to flood. When Letha Mondragon arrives, Letha, an affluent and enigmatic adolescent, relocates to Prufrock. Jade falls enamored with her because she thinks Letha might be the final girl, a horror movie myth in which one female survives and stops the killer. Letha and Jade become friends, and Jade introduces Letha to the world of horror movies. The first murder. Prufrock begins to experience a string of horrifying killings. Jade begins her investigation because she thinks that a real-life slasher is responsible for this. Jade makes an effort to foresee the killer's future movements by drawing on her broad knowledge of horror movies. She thinks that the deaths may be related to the town's past, especially the removal of the Native American people and the impending inundation. Personal struggles of Jade. Readers find out more about Jade's horrific past as the tale goes on. Her mother isn't there, and her father beats her. Jade and her father have a complicated relationship that alternates between intense aggression and affection. Jade uses her obsession with slashers as a coping technique and a means of organizing her thoughts. She finds strength in the notion that she might be the final girl. Climax. As the killings multiply, a lavish party is held just before the town is flooded. Jade predicts that the killer will retaliate in this final confrontation. Jade is attempting to piece together the clues and save her companions amidst the chaos of the celebration. The distinction between fact and fiction is hazy, and Jade's familiarity with the slasher genre is both a help and a detriment. Resolution. The truth of the deaths, the killer's identity, and their relationship to the town's past are made clear. Both of Jade's hypotheses are supported and refuted. The book finishes with a consideration of trauma, recovery, and the persuasiveness of storytelling. Jade's journey is a way for her to find her voice, as well as a descent into the dark. Analysis and themes. Stephen Graham Jones pays homage to classic slasher films by subtly referencing them while making commentary on the subgenre's cliches. The book is both an ode to and an indictment of slasher movies. Identity and trauma. Jade's character is a profound examination of trauma. Her preoccupation with horror is a coping mechanism for her suffering. The book explores how trauma affects identity and how stories may serve as both a haven and a jail. Colonialism and displacement. A key issue in the town's history is the displacement of its Native American inhabitants. The horrors of colonialism and the ongoing impacts of displacement are mentioned in the book. Fiction versus reality. The novel frequently errs on the side of fiction. Through the prism of horror films, Jade views the world, which causes her to have both moments of understanding and confusion. The horror novel, My Heart is a Chainsaw, is a deep, multi-layered homage to the slasher subgenre that also offers a profound analysis of trauma, identity, and the power of narrative. Horror and contemplation are expertly combined by Stephen Graham Jones to create a novel that is both horrifying and extraordinarily emotional.